Merhaba arkadaşlar. Yeni Starfield bölümünden herkese merhaba. Kaldığımız yerden devam ediyoruz. En son bu Mac mezarına gidip araştırma ekibinin en son üyesi Robot Kaiser'ı almıştık. Ekibi katmıştık. Oradan işte bu tremorflar için bize şey dediler. Ya dediler bunlar için bir virüs yapacağız. Bunların hepsini yok edeceğiz. Ve bunları bir avlayan bir yaratık var. Bunları tekrar doğaya salıp doğaya salıp onların yok etmesi bekleyeceğiz dedi. Bir iki yöntem sundular. Biz de tamam dedik, düşüneceğiz dedik, karar vereceğiz dedik. En son bize şey dedi işte, bu Terraform'un ilk işgal ettiği gezegen insanların bayağı bir katliam yaptıkları London mu öyle bir gezegenine gideceğiz. Onların ana sistemi gibi bir yer orası. Oraya bizi gönderdi bakalım. Orada bir konuşacağız, orada bir görev yapacağız. Bu arada bir değişik yer var. Bu yeni modda gelen bir gemiyi aldım. Bu modda gelen bir gemi. Burası benim outpost. Böyle değişik efendim yaptım işte outpost'ta. Buraya mürettebat atadım buraya bir. Burada işte bir mürettebatımız var bu karakolumuzda. Bu var. Linler var. Bir de şu var. İş var. Diğerleri robotlar. Gemimizde full şey var zaten. Bir koalisyon keşif ekibi. Bu keşif ekibimiz var gemimizde de. 5 mürettebat alıyor şu anlık. 5 mürettebattayız. Bir gemiyi de değişmek istiyorum ama gemiyi daha yeni kullandım. Bakalım bu gemide bir az oynayalım, isterseniz de başka bir gemi de buradan alabiliriz. İkonik shipler bunlar arkadaşlar. Hani ikonik shiple modda gelen gemiler bunlar. Dragonfire. Güzel, bayağı güzel gemi var yani. Base Oxys diye gemi var. Vista var. Evet ha. Şu an kullandığımız gemi buna benzer bir gemi. Biraz daha değişik. Destroyer. Şu gemiyi kullanasım var. Ama bakacağız bakalım, duruma göre değişebilir. Mia'nın Falcon. Direkt. Onları ne bileyim ya, kullanasım var mı yok mu tam karar veremiyorum, gemiyle bakacağız. Bu Falcon'un daha bir kargolusu, daha bir geniş yapması. Enterprise. Star Trek'teki gemi. Bu gemi hangi oyunda ya da hangi filmde bilmiyorum. Bilen yazar yorumları. Bunu da bilmiyorum. Bird of Prey. Arving. Bu galiba Star Wars gemisiydi galiba ya. Generator. Onu da bilmiyorum hangi gemi olduğunu. Bizim kullandığımız bir Gauntlet. Nan. İşte şu geminin kullanısım var. Bu Mando'daki gemi. Bakalım. Mürettebatı da iyi. Hızlı iyi. Karo kuvveti biraz düşük ama biraz pelikan. Speed var. Night Off diye bir gemi var. Evet, bakalım. Şu anda bizim gemi kalsın, şu gemiyi kullanalım, en son Nova'na geçeriz. Bu gemi de güzel, bayağı büyük. 3 katlı. İzleyeyim için size. Bir gemi tur yapalım, oradan göreve geçeriz.
Home sweet. When the time's right, I'd appreciate a chat.
Gel bir
It's
muhabbet
good to
edelim.
be on the
Gel
boat.
bakalım.
Lives get stuffy sometimes.
Bu yeni kas tarzı bir şey yaptım bu eve. Biraz bu eve oynadım bakalım. Tamam, oldu, diğerine geçeriz, siyah kaska geçeriz zaten. Gemimizin bu katı zaten şey katı. Up katı. Yani takılmalık yer gibi düşünüyorum burasını. Üst katında ne varmış bakalım. Üst katı daha çok şey böyle. Yani komat. Şey nasıl denir buna? Köprü gibi yer işte orası.
Excusez-moi. Lay it on me. Yes, this is yours now.
Ne var lan? Ulan kırdı.
Ah, my day just got a whole lot brighter.
What is it?
Üst katımız da var. Burası köprü denecek. Aa, silah mı ya var burada. Aslında buraya şey eklenir mesela endüstriyel bir. Ama alüminyumumuz yokmuş. Tabii silah tezgahı. Böyle bir koysak nasıl olur?
Ahoy, Captain!
Ya bunu ne kullanmazsın işte bu bana, ben koyucu ne kullanmıyorum onu anlamıyorum. Bir sıkıntı var herhalde. Öyle koydurmuyor. Dedim böyle bir şey yok. Üst katımızda ne varmış üst katımızda ona bakalım. Aslında böyle hap tarzı bir yer işte burası da. Ben burası şey ettim güverte oluyor. Bağımlıyız yer. Bugün böyle. Bugün benim oynayalım.
Ouch.
Oh bacağımız
That didn't
kırdık
go
galiba.
Do you got time for a quick chat? I'd appreciate it when you're able.
Hadi konuşalım bakalım. Sen ne anlatacaksın bize? Konuş bakalım. Gel.
I'd appreciate your advice.
Al bakalım reis.
After our last talk, I just feel a little more at peace, a little more whole. Cora's grandpa, good old Jacob, well, he just will not stop pestering me to see Cora, and that's complicated. I mean, can you blame them? She's something else. But things with my dad, my early years, they weren't
Ya
good.
biliyoruz bu anlattık
My
kaç
mother
kere ya.
died when I was 7. Some people have such strong memories from their early life. Me, I mean, I remember her. I have some pictures. I remember the feelings, but just a few clear memories. She banged up her knee real good in an accident. So she went in for knee replacement. Supposed to be routine, but that damn anesthesiologist dropped the ball. And one day mom's fine, and the next, doctors take her away. She had these truly ancient cameras, like caveman type things. She had a room with a red light. She developed pictures she took in this chemical bath. I remember sitting on a stool, looking up at them slowly fading in. That's all I have. Oh, it's all right. It's ancient history. So, Jacob raised me on his own, and shit, maybe I don't give him enough credit. I mean, I know how tough it is, but he was strict, hard. Dad was a longtime civil servant, a big man in government, and he had a future all laid out for me. Man, could he get his hooks into you. He was scary good at that. At his height, he was some sort of trade minister. A very prominent man in Aquila City. After I came along, he stepped down to a lower posting. He still had a finger in trade all over the collective. I can't deny it. He sacrificed a lot to be closer to Mom and me. Exactly. If we wanted big bloated government, we'd head over to the UC. He was my dad, though, and I was a young pup. But I tried. I felt the weight of legacy. I wanted to do him proud. He said I had to learn the business, run some freight, see how credits flow, speak the language. Meanwhile, he's working some angle for a government job for me after. That sounded even more miserable than what I was doing. I know, right? Even after I was with the Rangers, Dad was just always needling, angling for me to join the government. But by then I knew myself more, and I could stand up to him. And Lillian, well, she helped. If I let Jacob into Cora's life, he'll dream up some big future for her and tie her into knots like he did with me. A man could teach a master class in manipulation. Man, you are just dead set on all of us being one big happy family, aren't you? Maybe it's worth trying. For Cora's sake, I guess I got more to think about.
Düşün sen. Sen böyle senin anlatacağın çok şey var daha belli oluyor yani. Sadece bana biraz alüminyum lazım ya. Alüminyum çok eksiğini çekiyorum alüminyum. Altı bin kadar bir atalım bunları. Tamam. Nasıl kadar satıyorsun? Tamam, görevimize gidelim. Şu Vanguard görevi artık büyükten bugün bitecek herhalde. Bakalım.
Ready here. Cora's good too.
Evet bir de böyle bu şekil yani. Görmeden için.
Orbit locked. You just look at that view.
Dad, have you ever tried Aurora? What was it like?
Lan patlatmayın. Oy. Kartalar patlattı bizimkiler. Gidelim. Papa Santori. Olayım ben de.
Jump complete. Normal propulsion restored.
This world is off limits. You were advised to jump to safe harbor immediately.
O salaksak sonra sormayalım zaten. Biliyoruz ne iş yaptığını.
Let me check my logs. All right, you can proceed. We'll let them know you're on your way down.
Polima. Londinium'muş işte. Bu yok edilen şey. Bir Londinium. Bakalım.
Landing gear. Check. Thrusters. Check. Insight. Clear.
Some people go their whole life without this.
Hi. Please disregard. I attempted an informal greeting, but I am dissatisfied with the results.
Gezegen yer bile güzel bir şey yaptığınızı bırakıyor.
You! Inside the barriers! Double time! You with the Xeno unit? You're heading to command, far end of the compound. Command post is at the far end of the compound inside the old Terror Brew.
Çok da şehir yok olmuş baksana gençler. Ana. Ha, var. Ne yapıyor oğlum? Olmaz. Abi şu odunda sınıfısı var ya. Ben kaldıracağım odu ha.
I pride myself on knowing everyone on this world, and I don't know you. You're with the collection team then, I presume. Either that, or you're one deeply unlucky trespasser. Vanguard, eh? Brief said you were an eclectic group. You must have really shined out on the fringe to get assigned a task like this. Ah, then this must be the rest of your outfit.
Commander Hatum,
No need for introductions, Major Sanon. Dr. Walker, your reputations precede you, as does the urgency of your mission, so I'll get to it. Now, Londinium is one of the most dangerous places in the Milky Way. It's with good reason my soldiers and I do everything we can to avoid entering the city. Terramorphs are omnipresent, and the structural damage left behind when Major Sanon's father bombed its spaceport has turned large swathes of the metropolis into a decaying labyrinth. As such, we'll be providing you all with gear, information, and uploading municipal unlock codes to your robot. Every tool you could need to succeed out there. Except one. Once you're on the other side of those barriers, you will be on your own. If you get into trouble, my people will not be coming. Do we understand each other? The initial Terramorph outbreak that overran Londinium during the tail end of the Colony War came as a complete shock. Waves of the creatures appeared out of nowhere, and the city was quickly overwhelmed. There were some attempts at evacuation, but Ve Victus decided more definitive action was merited. He ordered the spaceport to be bombed, ensuring no other ships could leave the city, halting the spread of the outbreak but leaving large sections in ruins and condemning countless lives. And the intervening 20 years have only made Londinium more hostile, not less. So my people will not be coming for you out there. Understood? Terramorphs, and plenty of them, outside our little sanctuary here, much of the planet is theirs. For that reason, we keep our trips into the city to a minimum. That also means our intel becomes largely historical once you go much beyond the defenses. It's also why I want to make sure I'm being crystal clear. Out there, you're on your own. Precisely. I'll leave you to your preparations then. You can find your equipment in our armory, base of the tower just outside. And I do believe there's someone waiting for you there, Captain. Now, once you're outside the base, it's my personal suggestion you make a beeline to the nearby Aceles plant. It contains one of our field caches. Though I can't guarantee it won't contain anything else. I hope you all find what you're looking for out there. Robot, you're coming with me.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Commander. Percival, you all set to hook into their comms tower?
Should only take a few minutes. Let's get this done and get the hell out of here.
Percival will be scanning the city for our samples from here. When he finds one, he'll transmit the coordinates to us out in the field.
Pinpoint's a bit strong.
The equipment will be able to get us a rough location of any acceptable samples in the scan area. It'll be up to you, Kaiser, and I to find the things. All right. Head over to the armory and gear up. Once you're done, we'll meet by the entrance to the city.
Sen gidiyoruz. Lan bize ne verdik öyle? Bu işte boklular beyler.
Hey.
Give him one for me, all right?
Allah belanı versin ya. İnsan çok daha iyi bundan be abi. Buna başlayalım. Yaparız. Bunun hızına girsem ya şimdilik bu görevde. Hemen buzağa girelim bakalım. Nasıl olduk böyle? Oho. Bu adam.
You match our description. The Vanguard captain? The cabinet wanted to make sure you had the best tools for the task at hand. Now,
Bu an ne vardı bu an? Minigun.
Transfers complete. Those codes will allow you to temporarily restore power to most facilities in the city. Systems should shut themselves back down automatically.
Duly noted, Commander.
All set on your gear? You... Then let's get this show on
Hadi
the
bakalım
road.
başlıyoruz beyler.
Kaiser? Percival, everything green on your ends?
I am ready.
personal comm should be routed through Kaiser now.
Roger.
Şu an şeye başlayacağım. Bomba atlara başlayacağım.
Loud and clear.
Perhaps too loud.
Oh, you're a riot robot.
Kaiser, kick it off.
Unlock code transmitted. You may open the gate when ready.
All right. On our way into the city. Percival, where are we heading?
Running the first sweep. Got one. A Sealy's. Not far. Old shipping yard just past the processing plant. Gene samples are probably in one of the containers.
Day another bad guy. What? Too bad there's no more. I can use a workout.
We should
Give me a
collect
minute
all
to
the
learn
resources
parts
we can
sometimes.
from this thing. Shit. These things! They're all dominated! Clean them out and keep an eye out for the more patrolling them.
Not my day.
No sign of the morph, though.
Your shipping yard's just beyond the processing plant. Cache with some goodies is towards the rear of the facility.
Close enough for you to dial in the location of those samples from here?
Yes, they're faint, but I'm detecting multiple valid signatures. I have restored power to the containers.
Jackpot! Get down there and collect as many as you can.
Which one is going to kill me?
Bunlar da sapık var oradan ya.
I'm coming for you.
Ananı. Ne çok karanlık oldu be abi.
All right. Now hand those over to Kaiser, and let's get out of here.
Samples secure.
Nice work. Now, earlier scan picked up a valid terramorph sample, but, well, it's in the spaceport. And The quick route there looks like it got blasted when the port did.
There are steam tunnels under the city, which will allow us to access the spaceport.
What do you... That's right. Kaiser, how did you know that?
I am not sure.
Percival, you see any better option?
Not from where I'm standing.
Then we've got our answer.
Access unlocked. We may proceed.
Kaiser, this flora, this is Lazarus plant, isn't it?
Confirmed.
You know, no one even realized it was a living thing until someone got it under a microscope and saw it had cells. Can't be cultivated anywhere but Londinian. Real marvel.
Don't let anything go to waste.
What's keeping you things warm? What's that? My God, look at it. A Lazarus in bloom. You know, we might be some of the only... What's happening? Captain, are you seeing this? God, the heat leeches are terramorphs.
What? Those little nuisances can do that? Holy mother.
You just saw that, right? You would tell me if I was losing my mind. That heat leech became a terramorph. The pests that have snuck onto every planet are baby terramorphs. Heat leeches hide out in ships, sneak away after landing, and then with time, they transform. We just found out how terramorphs move between planets. That I don't have an answer for right now. But if they share a genome, like most nymphs and adults do, the microbe should have no problem dealing with heat leeches and terramorphs. The Aciles we'll have to look into. But given what we know about the creatures, I wouldn't be shocked to find that they've got an appetite for both. No, Lazarus plants can't grow anywhere but here, let alone blossom. People have tried. Plus, if what we just witnessed was happening anywhere else, well, it wouldn't just be Londinian lost to these things. What we just saw, it must be some kind of alternate growth method. One that winnows 70 years of maturation into seconds. It's incredible. I am sincerely inclined to agree, but current evidence suggests nature manages it just fine. The Lazarus plant. It's clearly an accelerant for the terramorph, a heat leech transformation process. Make one into the other in an instant. But that means if anyone knew about this, they could trigger a terramorph spawning. You could sneak a leech into a city, or even multiple leeches, into a place like New Atlantis. Good God. The attack on New Atlantis, does this...
Hayda bak.
Could someone have set that up? But first, you'd have to know the truth about all this.
Well, we're never gonna know if you don't catch that thing. Get after it.
Hadi bakalım.
May proceed.
Go!
Tam boss fight'lik bir yer burası var ya. Belli yani.
All right, let's get to the bottom of this. Percival, Kaiser's got the cell data from the New Atlantis and Tau Ceti attacks, right?
Uploaded them myself.
Captain, let Kaiser take a look at that sample.
Beginning analysis. It is a match. This suggests with high certainty that the Lazarus plant was used to trigger the attacks on both planets.
There's no way a plant this rare, this fragile, just shows up here, New Atlantis, and Tau Ceti. The transformations on those worlds, they must have been... triggered by human hands. Captain, do you understand what it is we just stumbled on here? Exactly. Someone saw the Lazarus plant in action and used it to trigger the attacks.
Using implements of nature as weapons of war. Where have I heard that before?
Our Xenoweapons group never dealt with anything like this, though they probably would have liked to. No, whoever found this, they likely never expected they'd get caught. It makes some sense, actually. Tau Ceti was likely their first test, someplace remote where no one would question a few settlers going missing. Ensure the big show, the attack on New Atlantis, would be a success. And the timing of that one, it couldn't have been just luck that it happened right when we were asking the cabinet to do something about the Terramorphs. These attacks, I think someone planned them to set all this in motion. It can't. At least, I didn't think it could. But maybe if we're right about this, someone found a way. They certainly were. But having this answer, well, it raises a couple big questions. Who could pull something like this off? And why?
Baban. Ay baban.
Let's save the discussion for when you all aren't standing in the universe's closest equivalent to hell frozen over. If we're gonna do anything to prevent more Terramorph attacks, human cause or otherwise, we need that final sample.
Roger that. Kaiser, get us into the spaceport?
The entrance is this way. No hostiles detected by near-range sensors.
Dur oğlum, ne bekliyorsun amına koyayım?
Recon protocols active.
Bir şey mi yapacağız oğlum burada? Ne yapacağız burada? Bizim altın nerede zaten? Altın mı kaldı bir yerde? Ondan mı gelmiyor bu? Of of.
All right, first of all, Kaiser's got the cell data from the New Atlantis and Tau Ceti attacks, right?
Uploaded them myself.
Captain, let Kaiser take a look at that sample.
Beginning analysis. It is a match. This suggests with high certainty that the Lazarus plant was used to trigger the attacks on both planets.
There's no way a plant this rare, this fragile, just shows up here, New Atlantis, and Tau Ceti. The transformations on those worlds, they must have been triggered by human hands. Captain, do you Exactly.
Using implement.
Our Xeno would make some sense. Tau Ceti would ensure the big... And the timing. It couldn't have been these attacks. They certainly were. Who could pull...
Let's save the discussion. If we're gonna do anything...
Roger that, Kaiser.
The entrance is... Situation normal. No hostiles detected by near-range sensors.
Oğlum bu ne bekliyoruz burada ya?
I am unable to provide sufficient power to the lock mechanism.
Anyone got ideas where we could get some extra juice?
Local power looks like it was controlled in the security office. Upper floor.
Captain and I can scout it out. Kaiser, see if you can't find another way to get it open.
Roger that. I have restored power to the office entrance. You may proceed.
There's the control panel. Still looks operable.
Star uyudu kaldıracağım ya. Vallahi kalacağım. Boya olmuyor abi. Anasını sıktı şeyin ya. Baksana hiçbir şey alamayız buradan ya.
Reactivated. Error. Control system reboot required. And we do that. Ah, Captain. I think I see it. Reboot engaged. Running diagnostic. Diagnostic complete. Multiple systems unavailable. Warning, priority safety concern detected. Exterior hatch power restored. Back in business. Warning, emergency recorder message detected. Transcription process engaged. Playback initiated.
Admiral Sinov, we need to make the evacuation request.
That's my father he's addressing. He was here? Didn't think he'd have the guts to look those soldiers in the eye before blowing this place to pieces.
Admiral!
It just transformed. An invisible weapon.
Bak. Babası ben sana demiştim babası diyor.
The troops that closed off the sewers after my evaluation. They're all in this facility.
Other than our casualties, yes, sir.
Good. Get them into defensive positions around the spaceport. No one leaves. I'll send ships as soon as possible.
Thank God. None of us wanted to go down swarmed by those things.
That won't be your fate, Colonel. You have my word.
Transcription complete. Physical copy available. An invisible weapon. He knew. He knew about the Lazarus plant. Grab that recording. We should talk. Hey, Victus. He destroyed this place.
Öyle.
Killed these people to keep what he knew about the Lazarus plant and the Terramorphs and all this a secret. Didn't he? He saw the potential of the plant as a weapon and hid it away. He killed those people to keep them from sharing what they might have seen. Condemned this whole city to death. He's...
Güzel mi olur?
And this is the prize sample of humanity the UC decided to let live.
Yes. Exactly what we all thought
En
he
delimi
was.
ödeyeceğim rahat ol sen.
Wait. If the plant was used to trigger the attacks, that means Victus, he might have been involved in what happened on New Atlantis. I hate to say it, but I think your instinct about him might have been right. And even if he wasn't directly involved, I guarantee he knows something.
I mean, Occam's razor, right? Who else knew about it? And who else is such an unbelievable monster to do that?
But I guess we're not getting any more answers right now. Come on, let's go get that last sample.
Hadi bakalım.
Kaiser, try it now.
Guys, your sample. It moved. I'd be real careful out there if I were you.
That doesn't sound good. Eyes peeled.
Hadi gidelim hadi yeter.
lighten up. I think you're due for some company.
You're not getting away from me. All right, Integrity.
The signal that thing's putting out to call in those creatures, I think I can nullify it. But I'm gonna need some help. There should be some radar equipment powered up now around the port. You get those online, and I'll relay my signal through there.
They're not coming after us. I guess we should grab that sample while we can. Good. Now just stash that sample with Kaiser and we're done.
Final sample secure.
All wrapped up. Time to get the hell out of here. Percival, you should unplug and find somewhere we can talk. Privately.
On it. See you soon.
Ne gideceğiz? Heh. Kaydedelim. Bölümler güzelmiş ya beyler. Harbi güzel bölümmüş yani. Güzel görevmiş. Bu Vanguard'lar sarmaz dedim ama harbi sardı yani.
Gravity's a bitch. No one will tell you different.
Dosya şehri yok ettirir baksana bu herif.
Look at all of you. Back from the underworld. Got pretty frantic on the comms towards the end there. But it sounded like this was a success. Got everything we need to put this plan in motion. Can't be positive until we run some tests. But knowing that the Terramorphs have been masquerading as heat leeches all this time is a big find. Arguably makes things more feasible, now that we know what we're dealing with, not less.
Agreed. Plus, I don't think you're gonna have to push real hard to get folks on board with cleaning up one of the galaxy's greatest pests if this is what they're capable of.
But none of that's getting done without the samples. You do have them, right? Ah, this place for them. Now, my connection might have gotten a bit fuzzy there, but do I have it right that Vay Victus knew about this damn plant?
That's what it sounded like.
Guess the old Admiral must have told someone what he learned. Even he's not clever enough to pull off an attack like that from the great beyond.
It's a bit more complicated than that.
Gerçek canavarı öldüreceğiz işte. Gerçek canavar Vay Victus.
I'm sorry, what?
I'm sorry, what?
He's pulling my leg, right? Adrian?
No, I don't believe he is.
So that means we have a suspect.
I believe that's exactly what that means. Look, Captain, Percival and I, we need to get these samples back to the lab. Ensure we'll be able to handle cleaning up the leeches as well as the terramorphs. But Ve Victus is the only solid lead we've got on the attacks. Since you're the only one who knows where he is, can you speak to him? See if you can get him to cough up anything he might know. Captain, I truly don't. He's already shown he's taken an interest in you. I'll be a lot more useful in the lab right now than I would be grilling Francois. So do you think you could do it? Please? Plenty of people out there with grudges against the UC, but he's the only one we know had any knowledge of the Lazarus plant. So right now, it's the only option we've got. Will you do it?
Rahat ol koçum, yapacağız be. Rahat ol sen.
Good. We'll all meet back at Mast, outside the cabinet chambers. They're gonna want to know everything we've uncovered here. Best of luck, Captain. And thank you for dealing with him.
Evet beyler. Bak kaç. Tam bu görevi bitiririz daha. Allah olarak çok karıştı. Yani belliydi. En baştan bir adamın bir şey çevirdiği belliydi ama bayağı bittiysin. Yukarıda iyi gideceğini düşünmemiştim. Ben başkan diyordum ama. Harbiden görevi çok güzel bir görev yapmış. Hayal olsun. Şimdi bu işi bitirme zamanı geldi artık.
I knew I should have brought a parka. Whew. Love the smell of getting back into the harness.
And we're off. Smooth as glass. Aim point reached. Orbit stable.
Grav jump spinning down.
Be advised, you are entering United Colonies space. Please maintain course and prepare to be scanned. Scan complete.
You will be scanned as you enter the city. Please keep moving. Okay, no bounty. You're clear.
Bakın sonu belki de var ya. Harbi merak ettirdiği sonu ya bu görevin sonu. Ha adam bir de bu tamam doğru. Unuttum onu ya.
Authorized personnel only. Friend has to stay here.
Well, what a pleasant surprise. When I heard you and Hadrian were headed for Londinian of all places, I presumed you must be onto something big. Did you find what you were looking for? Now, what in the heavens would make you claim something as ludicrous as that? That's quite the claim, Captain. I hate to think what would happen if such a patently untrue statement reached the ears of the cabinet. Perhaps I can convince you to keep this among
Hadi
us.
bakalım.
You know, you're far more clever than I expected. You want to hear the words, then? I did it. The Terramorph attacks on Tau Ceti, New Atlantis, my doing. Years of coordination between my associate and I. Figuring out how to deploy the Lazarus plant's pollen outside of Londinian. Learning to synthesize it. Use it as a weapon. Now, being as clever as you are, I'm sure you have thoughts on why I might do such a thing. All in due time. First, I want to see if you're truly as astute as you appear. So why would someone like me go through all this trouble? Not a bad thought. But no. The attacks were a correction. When I discovered the plant, I did consider handing over what I'd found, but we were at war. And I couldn't risk information that dangerous falling into the wrong hands. So I ordered the bombing of the Londinian spaceport, fixing two problems at once. Halting the spread of the city's Terramorph outbreak, and sealing away knowledge of the plant's potential. These were the final days of the colony war, Captain. The Freestar Collective had spies everywhere. I was concerned that if word got out, the Collective could swoop down, start breeding Lazarus plants, and overrun our worlds with waves of Terramorphs. Just like what was happening on Londinian at that very moment. Sealing off the city to prevent mass death? It was the only option that made sense at the time. Easy to say now, but in that moment, catastrophic war. But then, as the war ended, my trial, my execution, I made a decision. After all, I'd given everything for the colonies. My life as I knew it included. And what did I get in return? Was there any effort by the UC to protect my legacy? My daughter's legacy? No. We were sacrificed when all we did was serve. So I kept what I'd learned and arranged the attacks to set things right again. My daughter, she becomes a hero. I become a trusted advisor, having found Kaiser, the research team, and cement my new position of influence when I hand them the name of the person responsible for the attack on New Atlantis. The dear departed Dr. Reginald Orlays, the associate who aided me all these years, and whom I always slated to take the fall. What luck he was stopped dead before he could hurt anyone else. His decades on the run brought to an end by another unlikely hero. You. Why would I want to be in the good graces of the people who control my very life? I don't know, Captain. Maybe I still dream of a life outside these walls someday. A new face would be needed, of course, but it wasn't an impossibility. Though now, I'm not so sure. It wasn't easy. But the beauty of being loathed is that people will do whatever they can not to deal with you. They wanted to pretend I didn't exist. And so I used their blind eye to my advantage. Still, establishing a back channel to Orlays via the UC recovery teams was painstaking work. I've led campaigns less nerve-wracking. They believed they were luring in wanted criminals, but were in fact delivering precisely encoded slates, filled with instructions invisible to any but their recipient. Dropped off at just the right moments to fall into the proper hands. All without the UC realizing whom you're actually dealing with. Slow work. But as you can see, ultimately effective. There are no heroes without a villain. I simply arranged the opportunity for us to overcome one and become the other. And we all benefited. It's why I had Orlays reprogram Kaiser. Had that old machine guide you to where I found the plant all those years ago. I went to great lengths to ensure your and Hadrian's success. And look at the results. I know for a fact the Cabinet's planning to honor both you and Hadrian once this is all done. Isn't that preferable to languishing away in obscurity? Running jobs on the tail end of nowhere for the Vanguard? With only the vague hopes of perhaps earning the right to buy a home in the well someday. You're being honored only because I arranged the situation. And let's not forget the importance of our actual endgame. Eliminating the Terramorphs. Securing knowledge of the Lazarus plant. What we've set in motion is going to protect thousands, maybe millions of lives. I'm simply requesting one more life be protected.
Adam tam bir çakal be abi. Baksana şuna ya.
I've already sent along the evidence of Orlays' role in the attacks to the cabinet, leaving out my own involvement. All I ask is that you confirm as much to the cabinet. Tell them that it was Orlays and Orlays alone. After all, I do still have a long list of threats to the UC. This needn't be the end of our good works together. colonies. I expect they'll give me a bit more free range once this is all over. You would help me, like you did with Orleans. Track them down, and keep them from doing harm
Ya
to
Beşiktaş
the
çok
United
da bunda amına
Colonies.
koyayım.
Impossible, though. If the cabinet learns I'm the one responsible for the attacks. That is a pity, Captain. But I'm in no position to negotiate. Though we needn't be enemies, you and I. Just think about the opportunity I've provided here. There are more on the horizon. If you do the right thing.
Senin için oyun bitti dostum. Oyun bitti senin için yani.
Authorized personnel only. Your friend has to stay here.
Perfect timing. We just got in. So on our end, good news. The microbe and the acyles are both as effective against heat leeches as they are against terramorphs.
Means either plan should work for clearing those critters off our worlds.
Considering what the Lazarus plant is capable of, I don't think we can deal with those things fast enough. I already sent along info to the cabinet to get them up to speed. So what about your end? Did you find anything? Did my father tell you what he knew about the Lazarus plant? I knew it. The second I heard that recording, I knew. Why? Did he say why he did it? It takes some deeply twisted logic to think anything did more harm to the Sanan name than him.
I know what it's like having a famous name, but this is flat out insane. Monstrous.
Well, once we inform the cabinet, they can ensure he won't be able to do anything like this ever again. My hope would be that whatever connections he's got to the outside world disappear. Make sure his future schemes and machinations stay in his cell with him. But honestly, I'm not sure. He's in a unique position, and has done a special kind of harm to the colonies. Exactly. Bring justice to everyone he's hurt. So I guess that gives us our final answer. Nothing left to do but head in and see what the cabinet thinks of it all.
Okay.
Unless there was more to discuss. This might be our last opportunity to talk things through before the cabinet weighs in on a decision regarding the terramorphs. It's hard to know. Unlike my father, the cabinet aren't butchers. But killing UC citizens, along with everything else he's done, is
İnşallah.
unforgivable. But if you're really that concerned, you could request they be lenient. They might be willing to spare him.
Konuşmak yok abi.
Acyles aren't hostile to humans, but they are megafauna. If someone decides to pick a fight with one, it could get ugly. But they've already been spread far and wide once before when the UC was raising them as livestock, so the risk of introducing them to new worlds is minimal. Using them to clean up the terramorphs and leeches, though, It's not going to be nearly as expedient as the microbe would be. Given what we know now about the Lazarus plant, the speed of the job does matter. But going with the Asylees, we're at least dealing with known risks. They are.
Microbe needed minimal adjustment to account for heat leech anatomy.
And the Asylees seem like they're even better at tracking leeches than morphs.
Hell of a sight to watch, though, when they catch them. Like an open airlock guzzling angry spaghetti. Microbe is gonna make the cleanup a whole lot quicker. If we're concerned about this Lazarus plant getting deployed again, that's the way to go.
The cabinet can secure the Lazarus plant, and then we're not risking any surprises when it comes to dealing with a microbe.
You're being paranoid. You know the science. You know we can make this safe.
I do know the science. I also know math. And a 1 in a million chance of a mutation isn't 0. So I guess we're still in discussion. Probably best at this point to let the cabinet weigh in. See if they have a preference. And here we go.
Bakın gidelim artık. Yine doğru gidiyoruz beyler. Daha olsun Vanguard feneri, oyun feneri değil. Vah arkadaş ne görevdi be. Neymişim karşılar yönetik kovalıyız. Ben neymişim bu abi?
Welcome back, all of you. I wish we were meeting under better circumstances. But according to Hadrian's report, and the second one I just received, it seems the Terramorph attack on New Atlantis was no random occurrence, but a planned strike. Is what I'm reading here true?
My God.
An attack? Using terramorphs? How is that possible?
You will all receive a full briefing once we're done here. So then, is what the second report claims correct? Did Reginald Orlays commit these attacks, Captain?
Orlays? It's true, ma'am. I heard the recording myself. My father figured out how to use terramorphs as weapons.
He did what?
That's impossible. He doesn't have the kind of access to...
Clearly, he made his own access, Chief Sarkin. Madam President, I have been saying for years that not dealing with that man was gonna end in tragedy.
Enough! I hope everyone here understands that what has just been shared is a state secret of the highest order. This information does not leave this room. Now, that's quite the accusation you're leveling, considering Francois Sinon has not left containment for the better part of 2 decades. You have evidence to back this up?
Pardon arkadaş.
It just transformed. A terramorph out of thin air. An invisible weapon. No planet would be safe.
Heavens help us. Is that actually him?
I'd know that voice anywhere. That's Francois.
He knew they could do this, and said nothing.
He's a sociopath. Plain and simple, ma'am.
Officer, please collect that recording.
Yes, ma'am. Begging your pardon, Captain.
We'll, of course, be launching a full investigation into how this could have happened. Though I have little doubt the Admiral will be quick to share all he knows on the subject once confronted with that recording. Chief Yassine, can you send one of your interrogators to have a little chat with the Admiral?
I'll issue the order immediately.
Good. Combined with everything else you all have uncovered. Well, I don't think the United Colonies can thank you enough. We failed the people of the colonies by not dealing with Vayvictus sooner. I intend to rectify that mistake immediately. That's truly disconcerting to hear. But cutting off Vae Victus's contact with the outside world is likely to be just the beginning of his punishment. I'm inclined to agree, Captain. Now, with our villain unmasked, we can attend to the other matters at hand. With the threads you've brought together here, the Lazarus plant, the attacks, the heat leeches, the three of you have likely spared thousands of lives. But it now falls to the Cabinet to ensure this can never happen again. As such, the Cabinet will be securing the Lazarus plant on Londinian. All materials related to the plant will be classified to ensure no one else learns its true nature.
A sound decision, Madam President.
We're already discussing the elimination of one species, Captain. Explain to me why you wish to eliminate another.
Yeah, agreed. Time to go weed whacking with a vengeance.
And once Vae Victus has been dealt with, this problem can end here.
And allow us to focus on the grander task to come. Very well. We'll clean up the plant. Thank you for the suggestion, Captain. So then, to our final topic. The Cabinet has agreed to implement a plan that will deal with the Terramorph, and now also Heat Leech presence on human worlds. In fact, we've already begun enacting measures to check all UC ports and settlements for undiscovered nests. But we all understand this is only a partial solution. The project we're embarking on will be a long and difficult one. So our first step must be deciding how exactly this all will be handled.
Madam President, this microbe is clearly too much of a risk. The Aseles are the safer approach.
To someone with limited knowledge of biology, perhaps. The technology behind the microbe is solved science, Madam President. It isn't dangerous. Using it to wipe out the Terramorphs would be the quickest path to protecting humanity.
And fast results always lead to the best outcomes, don't they?
As you can see, there remains debate among the Cabinet. We were hoping your group might issue a recommendation. Major?
We've been having similar debates ourselves, but the Captain has yet to weigh in.
I see. Captain, I know this may not be your area of expertise, but we'd like to know your take on the matter. Please, ask. The responsibilities will be spread across multiple branches of the UC. Research and day-to-day administration will be handled by a new group under the Science Division. All diplomatic concerns and coordination will fall to Chief Yassine and Interstellar Affairs. But most of the actual on-the-ground work, that'll be handled by the Vanguard. This won't work without them.
Exactly right, ma'am. The Interstellar Affairs Office has already begun reaching out to worlds throughout the settled systems, informing them of the risks we're all facing, and that the UC has a plan to prevent what happened on New Atlantis from happening elsewhere. Thus far, the response has been, on the whole, positive. Fear of sudden attacks has proven a strong motivating factor, and we expect to encounter some intransigence, but our office has plenty of carrots and sticks to ensure the program's widespread adoption.
Infinitesimally low.
But not zero.
The chance of a starship landing on you as you sit here isn't zero, yet you still attended. Personally, my fear isn't mutation, but Terramorphs developing a resistance. But that's something our group can continue to address if we decide to take this approach, as I believe we should. I can feel this one. While intimidating creatures, certainly, Asylees are docile unless provoked. They're honestly closer to oversized mobile scanners than deadly predators. The concern is that, while all proposed methods will be long-term efforts, the Asylees are the slowest. Slow to breed, slow to deploy. We do everything we could to accelerate that process, including mustering some of our mothballed cloning technologies. But if we do elect to use this method, we'll be doing things at the pace of a megafauna, which is not an expedient one.
Very well. Then did you have a preference on the method we should deploy?
Neyse bağlı. Bence bu desim hani mikrop sıkıntılı iş ya. Uzun olsun, garanti olsun abi. Zaten nasıl
I'm in full agreement.
yaradığını öğrendik.
No need be delving into unpredictable sciences.
I expect my evening constitutionals are about to become a whole lot more eventful.
Hardly. You may just have a little more company than before.
Order, please. And Major Sinan? Dr. Walker, you'd find this acceptable?
We trust the captain's judgment.
Then the matter is settled. We'll begin the process immediately. Today marks day one for the United Colonies Terramorph Management Division, making you three the founding members of the TMD. As befits such a group, the Cabinet wanted to display its gratitude. Today, we will be adding 3 new Class 1 citizens to our ranks.
Class 1? For the 3 of us? Are you joking?
What he means to say is, thank you, ma'am.
Oh, yeah. Thank you, ma'am.
It's a status reserved only for those who've dedicated their lives to the United Colonies, or done great things for its cause. Class 1s enjoy an ample credit disbursement, an additional reduction on the cost of colonial goods. And I'm told the penthouse is rather impressive. You all have earned it. Now, there's much to be done. Major Sinan, Dr. Walker, I hope you two are willing to continue your efforts, spearheading the TMD's research on Mars.
We'd be honored, ma'am.
And as a member of both the Vanguard and the TMD, I believe you, Captain, will have your pick of duties. Speak to your commander, Tuala, if I recall correctly. He should be able to provide you with assignments going forward, plus help you collect the benefits that come with being named Class 1. On behalf of the whole of the United Colonies, you have our sincerest gratitude. This meeting is adjourned.
Beyler,
Can you get a moment to talk?
dur bağlam, dur biz. Diyeceğim şey.
Taking a look at your...
Dur.
Heard the cabinet's assembled some kind of elite anti-terramorph unit. About damn time. Wonder if they're taking applications.
The whole of the settled systems are in your debt, whether they know it or not. Shocked doesn't begin to describe it. But at least we know.
Well, I've got to say, this is a first. I've never had a Class 1 citizen in my ranks before. Congratulations, Captain. It's a high honor. Have to do something big for the colony. Only ever met a couple and certainly never given one. You should be real proud. No need to thank me. You brought this. I've already gone ahead and processed your Class 1 benefits. All UC goods and services should now have a thanks for protecting the colonies discount. And the credits should be in your accounts now. But to get into your penthouse, you'll have to pay a visit to the Aphelion Realty office. They should be able to grant you access. Just out the front door and across the plaza, by the embassies. Look for the Aphelion sign. Higher-ups wanted to make sure you know how much... But, with all that squared, it's time to get you a new assignment. There are your standard Vanguard missions, putting those pilot skills to use defending UC space. Or you could help the TMD in cleaning up terramorphs. Oh, and I got a request from Dr. Walker. Wanted your help collecting biological samples to keep an eye out for any, new alien threats on the horizon. Any of those missions call to you? Any chance to bag some bugs? Okay, these coordinates should get you to your first target. There. Something to report? Could use a hand clearing out for some fly. All right, let's get... These missions are straightforward. Proceed to the location. Kill the critter before it can do any more. You're authorized to use whatever force required to bring down those hostiles. Transferring that to you. Done. Report says ships at these coordinates fired on United Colonies craft.
Şu eve de bakalım beyler. Ama bakalım işimize. Burası diyor. Eve de bakalım be. Haberimizi bitirelim.
Well, well, if it isn't the United Colony's newest Class 1 citizen, you've made quite a name for yourself in New Atlantis. In fact, the higher-ups want to thank you for your dedicated service. It's a premium penthouse at the top of Mercury Tower.
What do you say? It'll just take a second to get you registered.
Great! You're in for a real treat. It's one of my favorite apartments in the city. Okay, you're all set. Your new home's located in Mercury Tower in the residential district. You'll love the place. It has a gorgeous... Now that you're an owner, I'm sure...
Gel bakalım bize. Evleyelim mi? Vay vay vay vay vay. Vay vay vay vay vay. Sonra kendimiz düşeceğiz yani. Vay vay vay vay vay. Bazen artık bir yere düşeriz. Hayata bir koymuyoruz bu abi. Bunları artık bir yere döşeriz. Bir kutu batalım bari uyumaya şey olsun bari burada. Tamamdır. Evet 12-3 tane şöyle. Tamam. Hep beder. Vanguard'ı bitirdik. Güzel bir bölüm, güzel bir şeylerdi, görevlerdi. Ben Supa'yı sevdim. Abi. Yapmış yani abi, yapmışlar. Vallahi yapmışlar. Üstünün götünü kurtardık yani beyler. Kısacası o. Görüşmek üzere. Bir dahaki bölümde görüşmek üzere. Hadi eyvallah.